authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
Need that money, bro. MJ Meriwether says harlot keyword private and use your own money.
This morning, which we're going to get to in a moment, but basically he wants to level the playing field with the accuser. But first, we got to start with this response that Jay-Z had to the allegation. Catch you up real quick if you hadn't heard, but a woman who had filed a lawsuit against Diddy back in October, alleging that he had raped her at a VMA after party in the year 2000 when she was only 13 years old.
Right. Remember, this is when she allegedly was given a drink. She felt woozy, and there was Diddy, and there was a male celebrity who was unnamed at the time, and also a female celebrity.
Well, that unnamed celebrity is now named. She refiled the lawsuit on Sunday. She and her attorney, Tony Busby, refiled it and named Jay-Z as that unnamed celebrity involved in the rape. Jay-Z's response is extraordinary in that, look, we've seen all these lawsuits against Diddy, dozens of them now at this point, and frequently his response has been to deny it, but to say nothing else. Jay-Z went way more than just denying it. He did do that, but then went directly after the attorney. Part of his statement said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt from a lawyer named Tony Busby. It made me want to expose you, Tony Busby, for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny." This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. You claim to be a Marine? Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. There were other shots at Tony Busby in his statement where he called him an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, and if you've heard Tony Busby's name before, it's because he seems to always find his way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he seems to always find his way into the big case, Charles, right? I mean, if it's Travis Scott, if it's Deshaun Watson, the NFL quarterback, he's always involved.
So Jay-Z had that strong response.
Yeah.
Tony Busby isn't backing down, and in fact said that he denied that there was any extortion. He said, my client merely reached out and wanted to have a confidential mediation.
Right.
Now, I got to say, I don't know what that confidential mediation would be about other than money.
Right.
But his point is the letter itself did not make any request for money.
Right, though I'm sure that was coming.
Yeah, it sounds like Busby's response was a little bit disingenuous. The confidential mediation would be where they would broker a settlement and not have the issue go public in the way that he did. He also mentioned that Jay-Z has sued him, and that got us thinking. There was a lawsuit, an anonymous lawsuit filed against Busby alleging extortion.
Back in November, yeah.
That's right. And now Jay-Z, in his recent motion that you referenced earlier, has said, yeah, that was me. Because when you sent your demand letters to me, I then went forward, stood my ground with an extortion lawsuit against you. And now if you're going to continue this whole spectacle, I want the accuser's name out there as well. She shouldn't be able to sue me as a Jane Doe. He says, fair is fair. This is a response to, this is retaliation for me standing my ground when you tried to extort me. And now let's just get it all out there.
Right. So the follow the beats here. First, Diddy is sued.
Right.
The unnamed celebrity. And at the time when we covered that, we thought the fact that they didn't name this person sounded like they were probably reaching out to her to try and get a settlement.
Right.
Jay-Z says that is exactly what happened. And when he turned him down, he thinks that the only reason they have now refiled this and put his name in there is retaliation for Jay-Z suing Tony Busby for extortion. So this is going around and around, but a very strong denial from Jay-Z.
It is, and it's look, we've seen, not just in this Diddy situation, we've seen a lot of cases in the past where celebrities have been accused of wrongdoing. This hardly ever happens, Charles, where you see the person under fire, the celebrity, fire back, and this intensely.
Right, back at the attorney, and then filing, Derek, this motion for the accuser.
Right, he is not taking this lying down, clearly.
And look, you're allowed to file documents anonymously, particularly where there's allegations that she was only 13 when this happened. So that's not uncommon to see. But Jay-Z now thinks this is an extortionate plot. And he says, in order to unearth all of this and unmask it all, we now need to know the identity of that person. And since it happened in 2000, she's obviously of age now. She's alleging that she was 13 in the year 2000. And he's saying we need to put all our cards on the table. I need to be able to identify my accuser and actually fight this lawsuit on its terms, on its face.
Yeah, I think it would be extraordinary, I think, Derek, if the judge did force the accuser to, and this is the really alarming part of this case, is that we're talking about a 13-year-old is the alleged victim, a woman who was at the time 13. And by the way, Busby isn't backing down, said that his client remains steadfast in her resolve in this case, that she will not back down and that she is going to continue to seek justice. So it's going to be interesting to see what the judge says here, because we did see the judge demand that in one of the Diddy cases, the accuser be revealed.
It was actually Evander Kane, the NHL star's ex. I understand it, Charles, from the standpoint, it's like, how do you defend yourself? And this is not a criminal case, fine. How do you defend yourself in court if you don't know who's making the allegation against you?
That's the argument that Jay-Z's making.
Marta Shea from Montreal. I mean, guys, who is really surprised by this, right? I'm not. I don't believe anyone else is. Jay-Z and Diddy go way, way back. decades, right? They've been friends since what, 1990? That's about 30 years of solid friendship. It was only a matter of time before Jay-Z was also accused of such crime. Now, whether it's a plot or not, whether it's true or not, we can all agree that this is the fastest we've seen Jay-Z respond to allegations or accusations. He did not take this lightly.
Yeah, and it's very clear he also saw it coming.
Yeah.
Right? Because he knew that he got that demand letter. He had sued Tony Busby. This was not something that suddenly popped up on Jay-Z's radar.
They were ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we all just heard, that is what initially,
Attention retirees,
you know,
if you're willing to beat
off
the
the
computer,
situation, right? So what we're gonna do now is talk about it before we jump into our next visual. Okay, so little white girl came up with the Tony Busby character. Lawyer supposed to be y'all him there, right? Tony Busby, we'll put a picture of him up here. Tony Busby. Okay, so this would be Tony Busby. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this would be Tony Busby here, right? In between Jay-Z and Diddy. This would be him here speaking. We're not going to listen. I just want to give you a visual of what Tony Busby looks like. So that would be Tony Busby, okay? Sitting next to this black lady. And he has been a lawyer for the P. Diddy accusers. And now he has recently gone on to add Jay-Z to one of the extortion lawsuits, entered the, alleged victim as a Jane Doe. Jay-Z, as y'all heard from compliments of TMZ, thank you TMZ, they give us great commentary on what is what. They have said that Jay-Z immediately came out and was like, no, this is not me. I was not in attendance. I never, did these acts, and I will not be extorted or, made to pay y'all money or anything like that. I'm going to, prove you wrong and turn around and recourse and sue you, in fact, for extorting me. Okay, so that's what is happening now. This is the lawyer, Tony Busby. So we have all gone on, to speculate and think, what we have thought. Some believe, some didn't. I personally talked my tea on it last week, even through the sickness and illness. Thank God I'm not out of the water, but I'm feeling a lot better. Y'all hear I sound a lot better. So anywho, yeah, I never believed the white girl. First of all, her story was just too far-fetched, embellished to be believable. The girl was supposed to be that 13-year-old girl who lived in Rochester, New York, was driven 5 to 7, 8 hours to New York, where they were holding the VMAs. The girl was also known to have been a special needs child that was, left home with whoever drove her there, and 5 to 7 hours, you know what I'm saying? And then she got a ticket, however much the VMAs cost, at 13 years old by herself, no parent in attendance, anything of the sort. It just was so far-fetched to me at the start of the situation. Then I guess as she was standing on Times Square watching the Jumbotron of the VMAs, she was approached by Diddy and Jay-Z or whoever, ushered into a limo, taken back to a home of Diddy's that we've also come to learn that was not a home of Diddy's at the time she alleged she was taken. The Diddy had already sold the property or something of the sort, but the property was not being currently inhabited by Puffy at all at the time that she alleges she was at this property. Could have been possible. Okay, so she alleges that instances occurred where she was raped, viciously attacked by Puffy, then Sean, taking turns, ravishly doing these things to her sexually, violently, while a woman onlooker unlooked. Okay, she escaped within an inch of her life. This is a special needs woman at the time, girl, 13 years old. She made it out with the towel, ran through all of the melee and people, and just bustling and of the crowded New York streets. People were like, "If you saw this girl, please become a witness," and all of that shit. I never believed it. I've always said, as a fellow content creator, touched on last night on a show that I watched called Tea on Top of Tea with Concha TV, Nosy Ho, Royce, Reed, and Juju from Louisiana. Okay, we're gonna listen in on that a little bit because I definitely give them their credit. They Nosy Ho, the one that was sued by Nicki Minaj for alleging that Nicki Minaj does drugs. Okay, even though we've all heard Nicki Minaj personally say the things that she's done in her songs. Nonetheless, Nosy Ho, she's all over YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. She also has the same views as I do, that this may very well be a ploy, a coup by Diddy, right? We touched on this last week when the case first got presented, and I talked tea on it, right? That Diddy may be very well trying to stack his goddamn chips like, okay, I'm in here. Jay-Z has been ignoring me, essentially written me off, not talking to me, not paying me no type of never mind. I don't like that. That makes me angry. I want to somehow, some way include Jay-Z in this situation. She has gone on to also furthermore make me also believe as well, which I had a hunch, but I wasn't quite, on the hunch like that, that maybe Busby is a paid person by Diddy to stack up all these frivolous lawsuits against him to only in the end find them to be true and something not credible and not being able to charge him on in a criminal case or anything like that, because that is seemingly what's happening. None of the victims that we know of thus far, if y'all know any, please inbox me, Tanisha Talks Tees, email me, tanishatalkstees@gmail.com, on a real fucking victim. Okay, we've got the Jaguar Wright, who I hear Tony Busby's not even fucking, giving a second thought to. The Allie Coates girl, whatever, Lamisha Fuller and Andrea English. Nobody has come, with a valid fucking anything against Diddy thus far that we know. Okay, so let's take a listen in on last night's show, where some of my favorite content creators were talking on it. Okay.
I heard she's talking about, oh, I'll come up with an album next year. We don't care. Keep it.
She looks very manly,
and it's okay.
She looks very manly. That seems to be his type, and we
efforts to discredit her while serving his 10-year prison sentence for outing her in 2020.
Garnishment. It doesn't make any sense.
Example of a nappy-headed hood booger negress with a poverty mindset. Be classy and do your coke in the bathroom, bitch.
With me, let's have some fun. I hope the nigga ain't turn you.
Thank yous to everybody that have watched and been inspired by what had happened. Was number one on Netflix.
You don't really look like Beyonce to me, but she give a little sprinkle of salami.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I want to see the back of your head. Let me see that tattoo in the back of your head. That's what I want to see. Because
baby, to sit down. That's a weird thing to do. Beyonce did that with a whole pregnant belly. You bend forward and bend your baby like a paperclip. That makes no sense. You naturally don't do it.
Right.
She did not carry Blue Ivy because she was having
in the chat all y'all want because y'all love Beyonce. I see people in the chat rumors and going off. I'm not stupid.
It's with this girl flat ass belly. Okay, we're not saying every pregnant woman.
Let's get the hell up out of here, y'all. Oh, matter of fact, honey, y'all know what we're getting into next. We about to get off tea on top of tea. Some of my panelists maybe or maybe not joining me. I think Nosy going.
Okay, wrong show. Right content creators. Okay, it's Conscious TV platform, but it's not Tea on Top of Tea that they talked about the topic that I'm looking for. It's his personal show where he had Nosy Ho on. Okay, it damn show is okay. So check that show out on Mondays, right at 6:00. Here it is. Here's what I'm looking for.
Hey, it's not just that. She has really little hands, like she's a little leprechaun. Jag tomorrow, but I haven't even had a chance to go through all of it. That's a mess.
Okay, so I'm out. From popular opinion, I'd be having to do the same thing. I'd be having to make it make sense. However, baby, it was very clear to me that what crashed and burnt about the direction Tisha Tales is struggling to go in as it relates to standing in solidarity with Little Miss Anonymity is the fact that it's obviously very biased. And I know why it's biased, but we'll get into that in the commentary toward the end. All right. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Bo. Now, battle for the bundles, girl. Okay. Things went down when Tisha Tell did a live stream titled Exclusive. We found proof of 13-year-old telling truth in Diddy and Jay-Z's case. All right, it's this particular live. Hold on, let me make sure I ain't got none of y'all men's genital pictures up here first. Okay, everything looking good. All right. Girl, it's gonna be a lot of moving parts in this commentary, girl. It is. All right, this live stream, her girl. Y'all go check it out. Girl, you know she really put her body.
And I would also say all copyright written information and commentary is all under fair use by it all being played on open air social media sites. Thank you, Conscious TV, and we love you. Tanisha Talks Tees.
Ike into making fetch happen, girl. All right, take that for what you will. Tisha Tell, I guess let's start off with some interesting things, all right? Because you guys know, for those of you, about a week or two ago, in a amended complaint that was only initially criminalizing and suing the hell out of Sean Diddy Combs, all right? But that was no avail. So Tony Busby had his anonymous Jane Doe client to amend her complaint to then include Sean Carter, all right? So Sean Carter, the other alleged rapist, was not in the initial complaint, which is very weird and bizarre because, like, why was he not a co-defendant in the original lawsuit when two of these men had allegedly assaulted you at the same damn time? But now we know why, right? Because Jay-Z done turned around and sued Tony Busby for extortion. So that's why we didn't hear about Jay-Z initially, because according to Jay-Z, Rock Nation, and Alex Spiro, Jay-Z, Tony Busby was attempting to shake Jay-Z down to the ground, girl, have him twerking, girl, how low can you go? Okay, Tony Busby was on Jay-Z's neck, and now Jay-Z is on his neck in return, all right? Now, this woman who's like 36 now tells a harrowing tale when she was allegedly 13 years of age. You know what? Yeah, I'll tell it in her own words. She alleges that when she was 13, she decided to fly down onto Times Square in the year 2000 so she could take a peek at her favorite black big dick male celebrities, okay? She has stated that she had a friend who's now with the Lord drive her 5 hours from Rochester to Times Square and dropped her off. And from there, she was trying to scheme and scam her way into the Radio City Music Hall, okay, where the MTV Music Awards was taking place. She stated after she failed to fraudulently break into Radio City Music Hall, she discovered some drivers out there on the curb, and one of them told her that she was exactly what Diddy was looking for and that she should stay in the same spot following the conclusion of the award ceremony that night. So that's what Little Miss Mamas did. All right. After the award concluded, she sat around. This limousine driver picked her up, and she alleged that they drove for about 20 minutes to a property where there was a big white house and a U-shaped driveway. From there, she commenced to enter into a party where she talked to Benji Madden about his Last Supper tattoo. She picked up a drink and she started her part of sipping it and ended up woozy and dazzled and dizzy. And then she entered into a room and she laid down. And when she woke up, she was being practically thrashed against the wall by Jay-Z and Diddy and stripped to her clothes. And she alleges that she was sexually assaulted, all right, by them both. And there was an unnamed female celebrity who was present for all of this going on. She then alleged that she clocked these niggas upside the head, successfully grabbed all her clothes, and then hauled her ass all up and through the house until she found the front doors, commenced to running through wilderness and woods in the middle and the wee hours of the night until she stumbled across a gas station where she was allowed to call her father, who then drove 5 hours from Rochester to this undisclosed gas station. And he picked her up, and they did not have a single conversation. She claims that her father never asked her any questions. What had happened? Where was she? Any injuries, etc., girl? And then that was it until all of this recent P. Diddy indictment stuff. And now we have a lawsuit, okay, against Sean Diddy Combs and Mr. Carter. Now, Mr. Carter, you guys know, has pleaded innocent. He done swung and banged on Tony Busby for this extortion, and he's ready to gun for the gusto, okay? They're expediting expediting the court case, honey. They're wanting a hearing within the next 20 days. They're claiming this is frivolous, that this silly bitch is lying, that her attorney girl is raggedy and salacious and can't even practice law in the circuit that he's practicing in on behalf of his raggedy ass client. All right. Now, after Jay-Z had them came out swinging and banging, everybody ran for cover, including bald-headed ass Jaguar Wright, baby, who went to talking about she ain't never said nothing bad about Jay-Z, baby. Everything y'all see out there is AI, it's artificial intelligence, baby. It's extraterrestrial, girl. It's technology from the future, girl. That those are hieroglyphics and holographs of her ass, alleging that Jay-Z raped her ass at gunpoint and everything else, baby. Everybody done went to just running for cover now that Jay-Z is outside, including Little Miss Anonymity, who also came forward, girl, to NBC News. And this is what she told, well, before I let y'all hear what she recently told NBC News, I want to welcome no other than the messy baby and where it resides. Hey, Nosy.
Hey, guys. This shit, I didn't know that Jag said she never said that shit. Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute. You ain't. Oh, well, did you see the clip of her alleging what she alleged?
I saw somebody sent me the clip of her saying that she was tied to a bed and all that by Jay-Z, right? But I didn't know she then came out and said that she did. Maybe somebody told me and I forgot. I forget stuff. That's a mess.
You gotta look at everything on my channel because Ezzy Berry and Storm Monroe pulled up here. Jag called in to a live stream trying to cuss Ezzy Berry out, claiming that Storm had.
That's the woman that was on the video with. I don't know her.
Yes, that's Ezzy Berry. She's an activist who was in the StreamYard link, girl, and she was claiming that Storm in real time doing a live stream 4 months ago used deep fake AI technology to make her say what she said.
She said that on your channel?
So that's what she been saying on her channel.
I gotta go pull it because everybody sent me everything, and that's why I said we're gonna talk about Jag tomorrow. But I haven't even had a chance to go through all of it. That's a mess.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to send you everything in chronological order then. Yeah, I'm gonna send you everything, child. So that's why Storm and Jag been beefing because she claimed that he put it. Now, mind you, this live stream is 4 months old. She didn't have a problem with the words came out of her dick sucker until the Star Report had
Yes, I saw the Star Report talking about it. But you know, Jag said stuff about Jay-Z on my channel for years. I have so many receipts of her talking about Jay-Z. We wouldn't even be talking about Jay-Z and she would bring him up. So what is she talking about? She's been talking about him.
Liar, pants on motherfucking liar. Because every damn YouTuber under the sun then came out with they respect clips and evidence showing that not only did she say all that shit to Storm, she done said all that shit to their ass as well.
Yeah.
She
the part about her, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The part about her being pregnant by Jay-Z, I never heard that. She didn't ever say that on my channel. She said that not too long ago. And I was like, well, why didn't you ever say that when you was on my channel for 3 years lying?
Baby, she ain't hear it for the first time until a few months ago. That's what she heard it for the first time. Her damn self, baby, when it came out of her damn mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
So they got all that going on. She pussy popping, baby, backpedaling, baby, saying it's all fake, deep fake. Sue Storm, don't sue her. She never said it in, came out of her dick sucker, baby, deflecting like a motherfucker. And who else is pussy popping and backpedaling is this woman who amended this complaint against Sean.
Yeah, I got to say about that hoe.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the news clip of the woman and let y'all hear what she came forward and said after Jay-Z stepped outside and started swinging and banging on bitches' head tops, baby, because Miss Anonymity don't want no motherfucking smoke. All right, hold on. Let me. Oh, here it is. All right, check this out, girl. This is fair use, y'all. It's gonna be a lot going on. I told y'all in this commentary chat, it's gonna be a lot going on. So just brace yourself.
How about this?
Check this out, courtesy of NBC News.
His attorney filing a letter.
The sound cut out. Maybe it's just. Is it just me? My sound cut. Is it me?
Hear us, y'all?
Okay, now I can hear you. I can hear nothing.
Okay, good. Okay, it might be on my microphone. All right, let me rewind this bike.
An NBC News exclusive that found inconsistencies with the accuser's story.
You should always advocate for yourself.
It comes after our interview with a 38-year-old mother from Alabama who accuses Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter of raping her when she was 13 years old. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward? Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party. She says at the party, she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo. It's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at that time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter both raped her. She said she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said, in remembering what happened 24 years ago. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, this incident didn't happen. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory. A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people? I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
Good nosy whole life. Nah. What I want to start with this. What we never known that this woman was autistic, and I feel like Tony Busby kept that from us intentionally, and it's because research shows that people who suffer from autism generally have a problem with memory recall, with particular details. It's a lot going on. A lot of times they aren't even afforded the right to due process because it's so challenging to really to legitimize the things that they've built the perception around. And now here it is. Ironically, we have an autistic woman who also had a head injury prior to this whole ordeal, who is coming forward saying, I don't have, there might be some inconsistencies. I'm not sure the details. All I know is that I was assaulted by two big black men. It's also, I ain't gonna lie, it is giving a little bit immaterial up in this bitch, just a little bit too. All right. So we didn't know that. What do you think about the fact that Tony Busby intentionally left out those details, that his client was severely mentally impaired and suffered from a head injury?
He lying. He works for Diddy, and that girl is lying too. And even if her head is so injured and she's so autistic, I don't understand how a girl who says she was 13 confuses 13 with 16. I don't think people understand that those are important years. Those teen years are important years in a girl's life. The things that happened to me at 13, I would never confuse them with 16. I was a completely different girl by the age of 16, with the way that you develop year to year and things that you're allowed to do at 16 that you were not allowed to do at 13, and the way that you grow, it doesn't make any sense. So I don't know why he withheld that, but I really think that he's trying to lose these cases because he works for Diddy. I don't think that he's trying to win. I think he's purposely trying to lose and putting out ridiculous stuff. The girl was sitting there stroking a fucking pet, a little bunny. Did you see that?
Hold on, what happened?
Oh, when we watched this on my channel two nights ago, one of my subscribers pointed out that she had a stuffed animal. And she did. She was rubbing a rabbit's ear.
Oh, she was. I saw that. Yeah. The rubbing.
Like, you're a grown woman that's 30-something years old. What do you have this fucking rabbit for?
Which is why I feel like this woman is not a high-functioning autistic person. She probably has. See, you would be classified as very high functional. Like you're completely competent. You can self-care. You don't need a handler. This woman looked like she was almost in a damn wheelchair. The way
And
they
that's
positioned.
why it's not just that. She has really little hands, like she's a little leprechaun. She has some kind of bob that's tucked under. Like it looks like something from that damn show. You could see from her silhouette and her hands, this is a little person. That's a little person. Look at her hands. So the fact that you're saying that this person is not high functioning autistic, she obviously is off, and she's a little person. You mean to tell me that some friend drove her 5 hours being a slow midget and left her in Manhattan? I don't know what people don't understand about people from upstate don't fuck around in the city like that, and vice versa. People from upstate New York feel that the city is dangerous, is violent, they're all gonna get raped, murdered, and robbed. They don't fuck around in the city like that. If they come to the city, they plan a whole day around it. It's a 5-hour drive. Who is driving you 5 hours just to drop you off? Where your little slow midget ass get enough gas money from to pay somebody?
No, we got the curb. We got the curb. Some sentences.
Okay.
You know,
What do I call her? Delayed leprechaun?
Yes, a very unique under 5 foot individual.
Okay, y'all know y'all PC over here. I'm not. Delayed, a unique little
Under
person.
5 foot, yes.
Okay, they're gonna drop off a unique little person in Times Square in Manhattan somewhere, away from those trees and deer upstate, and just leave her to wander around being little and delayed. That makes no sense. And then
That's what Tisha Tell would have us believe, though. No, Tisha Tell would have us believe
Tell
that's
is
exactly
a Popeye. That girl is a Popeye, half wig wearing liar. She's there for clickbait. She does all that clickbaity shit. We all know that. That bitch don't know what she's talking about. This is what I don't like about people who get on the internet and say, I'm standing for the victims. If you gave a fuck about true victims, you would not be out here pushing these lies. When you care about true victims, you don't push lies. That only hurts real victims. These people are phony as hell, including that Popeye bitch you just put up on this screen. What am I supposed to call her? You big eye? What I call her? He's Popeye. That woman is lying. And then the bitch say her father came. She called him from the payphone. I don't know where she get the quarters from. You have quarters for payphone back then. She called the payphone. She said she went to a gas station and they showed a little white hand picking up a payphone. Roll the video again. They showed a little white hand picking up a phone. Roll the video. They showed it. When I saw that hand pick up that phone, I was done. I said, they are really trying to push this. That girl said she called her father from a gas station and he came and picked her up and they rode home in silence. You mean your father didn't ask you, what the fuck is your slow midget? I'm sorry. What the fuck is your delayed, unique little person ass doing in New York City, bitch? And we live in Rochester. How did you get here? They should have charged the person that dropped her off. The father should have been mad as hell that she's out there. You're a vulnerable human being. Anything can happen to you. And then the father came out and said, I would remember something like that. I have no memory of that. Of course he don't, because it didn't happen. Tisha Tells is lying. She's lying. She's lying.
We're gonna get into some of the details, baby, because baby. Oh, this is okay. So see, all these are circumstantial clues to let us know.
Look at the rabbit.
So she has a emotional support animal. Or a emotional support teddy bear. Oh, poor
at 37. At 37.
And
that girl better stop playing with her. She better stop.
But you know,
she's crazy. She can't fool me.
Let's put Mo on this on Tony Busby, because he saw all this from the jump and he knew what he was doing by letting this woman come down to him and say all this uncorroborated stuff. Because, you know, if she is real unique, you know, she real unique. You know, we can't really hold her fully accountable. But Tony Busby fully competent ass. You know, he exploited this woman He even said he didn't even vet the lady. That all he did was interview her.
Let me tell you something. I don't think that woman came to Tony Busby. I think Tony Busby got her. I don't think she came to him with this story. I think Tony Busby found somebody who's delayed that will get out there in front of the cameras and repeat what they're told. Tony Busby, and this is something that Shanitra pointed out, and it's true. This man has been a lawyer for a long time, and you mean to tell me you don't vet none of this stuff? You don't speak to the father. You don't do anything. Like nothing. You just push her out there with something that can be easily debunked. You know why? Because he wants it to be debunked. He wants it to be debunked because he wants every story that comes out about Diddy to look so ridiculous that nobody believes the true victims. That's what he's being paid by Diddy to do. Diddy is paying him to put out ridiculous stories so people say, you know what, we can't believe none of these hoes, even Cassie. That's what he's doing. Look at her thumb and hand area. That's not normal. That looks like a baby sitting there rubbing that rabbit's ear.
I can't.
And you mean to tell me Diddy's driver saw her 3'9" with a leprechaun dog and said, you are just what Diddy was looking for. That doesn't make any sense. We saw Diddy with Cassie and Young Miami and Kim Porter. And somehow, this is his type. They need to stop. They need to stop. They need to stop. And some of those delayed people, you can see the delay in their eyes, that far away look. They look far away from here. Far away from here. They look far away. No, that didn't happen. None of this happened. Anybody that's dumb enough to believe it, okay? You know, maybe these are people that they baby daddies tell them lies about what they did with the tax money and they believe it. Oh, I took that money and flipped it, cuz we gonna be rich, cuz, and they believe it. That's the kind of dummy that's believing it, because it don't make sense. I actually stand with real victims. I stand with actual victims. People who lie like this hurt the real victims. I don't fuck with this at all. This ain't my kind of shit. That whole lying and that whole that headband needs to stop clickbaiting people. The real story is Tony Busby. That's the real story. Hey, Royce, get your ass up here. The link is in the chat. Royce, get up here. Because I need help reading this bitch. That girl's hands are little. That girl got little hands. Something ain't right here. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. They not gonna fucking tell me that the driver saw this little ass shopping cart and said, yeah, you exactly what he looking for. You got stumpy legs, a small torso, a big ass fucking head with rollers at the ends tucked under you, and little hands and a bunny rabbit in your hand. You are exactly what Diddy is looking for. They need to fucking stop. They need to stop.
No! Stop! Stop it! God, stop it!
Slow hoes is believing this. Oh, Coach Leslie, I'll give you motherfucking cash out now. I don't turn down no coins. Hold on. I don't turn down no coins. It's Marley the Mermaid. Oop! I just put it in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. I don't know what Tisa and her wig said. I don't watch it, but you know, I'm sure she was clickbaiting her ass off. This story don't make sense. And that girl, somebody tried to tell me that the two guys that she said she talked to, one of them about the tattoo, that they was at the VMAs 3 years later.
In 2003. Mm-hmm.
I don't give a damn. That girl wasn't there in 2000, in 2001, in 2002. She was never there. They're lying. This is a lie. This is a lie. And people are getting their stupid asses on here. Well, she could be off about the years. No, the fuck, she's off, period. She ain't off by no years. She's off, period. This woman is delayed. Now, have you ever seen a midget walking and said, oh, she's sexy than a motherfucker? Never. Never. You've never done that. You've never done that. This shit ain't never happened.
First of all,
Oh my God, I'm not gonna get nothing done up here.
Child, these folks lying.
I'm going over here.
Thank you,
first
whoever
of
that
all,
was.
I'm
Thank
still.
you.
First of all, I'm still on the floor because the lady had that leprechaun.
Did you see her hair? It looked like
Child.
just like one of them things from that movie. It's not. What's that movie with the factory people? She looks like one of those. Look, there's no shade. I'm sorry, lady, but you shouldn't have got your ass up here lying because now we got to pick you the fuck apart.
Okay.
She looks just like those little people from Wizard of Oz. Remember how they had that haircut slick back and it was bumped under? That's the Oompa Loompa thing. That's what she looks like.
Yep. And why she
You
had
can tell her silhouette. This ain't no bad bitch. Why would they stop her?
And then she got that Bugs Bunny all in her hand, child. That Build-A-Bear Bugs Bunny on there. She got down from the Warner Stove back in 1999, child. It is a mess. Tony Buster, you got this lady up here, and you know good goddamn well that lady is crazy and catfish. And you know that lady up there talking about some. She had this, that, and the third child. When she was
When
up
I
there
saw that
coughing,
little hand with that tiny hand caressing that damn bunny rabbit, I damn near fell out. I could not believe that.
yes, it was that day. You remember that movie? What's that movie? A Scary Movie. That man with the small.
Yes, that's what you look at that girl's hand. CTV, pull that video up, and you see that hand picking up that phone. They never should have put that girl up there. They never should have put that girl up there.
Stop, Nosy! I can't deal.
They did it.
I am not going to survive this commentary, Nosy.
I'm telling you. She ran to a gas station, and that don't make sense either. The fact that everybody else, and Shanitra pointed this out too, I'm pretty sure it was Shanitra, everybody else in their lawsuits said that the doors be locked, they have to go through Capricorn. Remember Capricorn, their assistant. Now, you know he assaulted her and left her in London and took her passport. Diddy is dirty. They said that they have to go through Capricorn to leave, to go to different rooms and leave the party and shit like that. The doors be locked. But somehow the little person can reach the doorknob and get out. This don't make sense. I don't trust this. And also, CTV, do you want me to wait till we get to Tisa Tales line ass? Because somebody sent me some information on this too, on that house. You want me to wait till you get to CTV?
Yeah. Wait till I get to the house. Okay. Yes. All right. So let's move off this poor woman that's been exploited by BuzzFeed.
Okay, we are listening to some Tea Talk from Conscious TV over on YouTube. He has a great YouTube channel. I'm a great fan of his show. Been watching it for years. Get on over there and subscribe to Conscious TV, okay? Nosy Ho and Royce reads. As I was saying in the beginning of the live, me and Nosy Ho have a lot of the same understanding as to what we're following as this, case progresses with Diddy, introducing Jay-Z, debunking the girl that has come for Jay-Z. Essentially it ended up looking like Diddy's paying Tony Busby to trump up this case with a lot of frivolous, not valid, non-crediting people to make it look like, that everybody's lying on Diddy. Okay, let's keep listening.
Wait, one more thing. Before we climb about this lady, I want to know where she got that Bugs Bunny doll from. Is that Bugs? Is that Bugs or just Roger Rabbit? I want to know which one is the which kind of rabbit that holding her little house. We shut the hell up. I'll be quiet.
Tony gave her that thing and said, sit there and look slow and tell your story. Tell it exactly how he rehearsed it over and over. That's what he did. And you know what? That's true too. He said she hit Diddy in the neck to get out of the room with that hand. Stop.
But
That
you ever
little
seen
hand is
the
not
grip of a
hurting.
baby hand? Sometimes the grip of them baby fists is scrunch their little hands up and just be tearing the damn baby hairs out of their mama hair. Them little hands be packing punches sometimes, baby.
Enough to make Diddy's dick not be hard? I don't think so.
Yeah, because she fighting against cocaine and pink cocaine. Oh yeah, they had superpowers that night. They was zooted up. Okay, so let's get into some of the things that we're gonna have to get into because it's a lot going on with Tisa Tell's commentary. It's a lot, all right. That's okay. So first, Tisa Tell went on a tirade and used this particular case to cite in order to take the heat off of Little Miss anonymity, or as Noja would call her, Little Miss Leprechaun Bob. Okay, Little Miss Leprechaun Bob, girl. Okay, and the case was about some type of arch bishop or some shit, girl. It involved a boy who had been SA'd by these religious figures and these men over a long period of time, and it reads, the court addressed rather exact dates of abuse which occurred decades earlier were required. It concluded that for incidents recounted long after they occurred, particularly involving minors, providing a range of years instead of specific dates is acceptable. This decision reflects the reality that survivors often struggle to recall precise dates due to the trauma and time elapsed. The court emphasized that dates and times are sometimes approximate and incapable of calendrical
exactitude. Now who wrote this? Tisa?
Yes.
She needs to stop. We don't need.
Hell no. Tisa Tells did not write this. Tisa Tells does not speak this educatedly for her to write something this educated. Okay. Tisa Tells is a girl that went after Foxy Brown, alleging that Foxy Brown was going to be a victim, in a sense, coming forward about, her time with Jay-Z. She was a minor, la da da da. Jay-Z fucked her, la da da da. And that, she was essentially going to come forward. Foxy Brown jumped on Tisa Tells' wig and tugged it and said, bitch, no, I'm not. Stop putting my name in your mouth before I sue you, basically. That's Tisa Tells over on YouTube, y'all. She's a great embellisher, exaggerator. So, for clicks and views.
Just say they don't get exact dates.
Who is she?
Let me read this.
No, that's what I can't stand about some of these folks.
Oh, God.
That is that's not gonna make you stand with us with all these unnecessary.
Over there trying to make fetch. She was trying her best to make fetch happen, child. The calendaring go exactitude in such cases.
That's AI.
Should not be penalized.
That ain't nothing but some AI Tisa Tells that put up in some AI chat GBT and try to make herself sound more smarter than she is. Okay. That's what that was. Here, Ella. You're welcome. What? Go show daddy.
For a lack of specificity if their claims provide enough detail for the defendants to investigate. All right, then let's get into the real smoke and mirrors, child. Because before it's talking about a boy who was violated and traumatized over years and years and years worth of time. Like in the case of Little Leprechaun Bob, this was a one-off situation that never happened again. And might I add, her daddy also had just learned the story for the first time when she told it to Tony Busby. He never in his whole goddamn 24, 36 years of his ever heard anything like this. She never said no shit like this. She never recounted no shit like this. He was hearing all this shit for the first time with the world, baby. All right? Now, you guys know, because Noto had hit my live stream too. And the New Yorkers had sounded off, baby, when it came to Little Miss Leprechaun Bob saying that there was not a who's saying that she was driven 20 minutes to an estate with a U-shaped driveway, child. Well, according to Tisha Tell, baby, she done found the smoking damn gun, baby, which is this alleged New Jersey property. And
She ain't found shit.
in Alpine, New Jersey, that Diddy done sold after 9 years of ownership. And this is a July 1st, 2016 article, baby. And she's alleging that this could possibly be the house, even though this house is not white. And the driveway, I mean, I guess it'd be considered a U-shape from a 13-year-old's perspective. But what do you think, Nosy?
I think that's a lie because somebody sent me some tea that he bought the house in the summer of 2004.
Ooh!
He wouldn't even had it there. Somebody sent me this.
There you go. All right.
My subscribers be on it. My subscriber, and I said, yep, I'm going to share this when we go live.
And
it says, this is from July 31st, 2004. This is an article in the New York Post. Jersey Diddy buys $9 million mansion after fleeing city. He left the city, wherever he was at in the city, and went to Jersey. It says Sean P. Diddy Combs is abandoning his Manhattan crib for a suburban spread. The hip-hop mogul who sold his 12-story Park Avenue mansion earlier this year and recently put his downtown loft on the market has just bought a 21-room mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. So that house in Alpine, New Jersey, he bought it in July of 2004. I'll put the article in the chat so you can have it because child, my subscribers be putting me all kind of shit.
Yes, in that to me, child.
So that debunks that.
Debunked. Well, damn. Okay, we never got to deal with that. Tisha, you see, baby, this is well for you, sugar. Shout out to the 13, baby. Y'all thumbs up. We're working, girl. Child, hold on. I might be putting this up because see, I don't want no smoke in here because I know she's gonna come back with all type of goddamn bulletproof vest on. So let me just go ahead and pull this damn article up so y'all can see it. It's not a myth.
One of my subscribers sent it to me on Twitter. TTV, do you have a Twitter? Everything is on Twitter. Y'all gotta get on Twitter. And when y'all get on there, follow me, damn it. I'm trying to monetize my Twitter. Go follow me on fucking Twitter. Nosy Whole Life, same name.
Twitter got it going on, child.
All the shit is on Twitter. Everything is on Twitter.
Everything on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay,
years and years and years of evidence against everybody. All these celebrities, they've been on Twitter for years. Is years of shit on Twitter. Years. Decades.
Wow. Debunked. Tisha Tales. Here it is. So let me move my comment. Jersey Diddy buys $9 million mansion after fleeing city. Sean P. Diddy Combs, and this is a 2004 article, y'all. Sean P. Diddy Combs is abandoning his Manhattan crib for a suburban spread. The hip-hop mogul who sold his 12-story Park Avenue mansion earlier this year and recently put his downtown loft on the market has just bought a 21-room mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. His deluxe new digs in 8-bedroom, 9.5-bedroom, bath, 17,000 square foot house on 3.5 secluded acres had an asking price of $8.95 million. Combs' gated estate features a large theater, an indoor basketball and racquetball court, a pool gym with sauna, a pool with a waterfall and separate spa, a wine cellar, a bar with a 700-gallon aquarium, and a 6-car garage. Businessman Mark, whoever the fuck that last name is, identified by the real estate firm as the seller, brought the home in November of 1999 for $4 million, according to Bergen County records. We ain't got to go through the whole thing, but so this one, baby, this is a whole estate from 2004, which would have been 3 years after.
Remember, they trying to say it's 2000 and it's 2003.
I'm going to say that it would have been 4 years. Yeah, this would have been 3 years after Miss Leprechaun Bob's timeline, and then it would have been 2 years after Tisha's timeline. So no, this was not in fact the property. Miss Tisha ain't telling nothing. Wow. All right, that was easy. Jesus. Okay, well moving on to the next. Okay, let me pull the thing up, child, because I was a scourging through, girl. Let me bring up my notes too, child, because I took notes when I was listening to her, child. Now, after all that talking about the house could be the house, we know it now ain't, thanks to Nosy. Tisha goes on a tangent about how NBC did this horrendous hit piece on the severely mentally impaired woman and how they should be ashamed, etc. Yet in the same breath believes that this mentally impaired woman had access to someone old enough and dumb enough to drive her 5 hours across New York, was competent enough to pooch about the VMAs without a ticket, then ran barefoot in the middle of the night for miles or blocks on end after being brutally actually assaulted without anyone noticing her on the road, nor without being chased down by Diddy and his goons, and then made it to a random gas station where she was able to call her father, who drove 5 hours to pick her up and sat in the car with her the entire duration without as much as a "where were you?" And we now know that that couldn't have happened because this woman can't even go nowhere without her goddamn pet rabbit, yet alone be competent and fluid and functional enough, baby, to have essentially pulled off a damn Bruce Willis 007 ass heist out of Rochester.
I don't believe it. Somebody would have. This reminds me of that crazy ass girl that said that she saw a baby on the highway. Wouldn't somebody see a child walking down the street and wonder why this child is walking? Where are you trying to go, little girl? Somebody would have seen that little person walking down the damn street. It don't make sense. Also, Diddy ain't letting nobody leave them freak offs without threatening them. He's not gonna let you just walk out. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna get threatened. He's gonna tell you he's gonna blow your whole family away. He's gonna kill your grandma. He's gonna knock the caps off her knees if you say something.
Then on top of that,
this don't make sense. Go ahead, Russ. My bad. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, huh? Then on top of that, like this is in a rural, not a rural. This is like a suburban area. Like ain't no these suburban areas. They don't be having no street lights. Like the only lights that be at the people's houses. So how do you know? You just out in the dark at 13 years old in this white neighborhood. You're a white little girl, autistic girl, and you just walking out in the suburb, and you just all out willy-nilly, all out just loose. And ain't nobody gonna say, "Hey, little girl, what's going on?" You in this rich neighborhood, and you just walking around like just casually at night, and ain't no police officer, no neighbor, nobody to just check up on you. Just walking to the gas station all alone. Nobody at the gas station called in and called the police. Okay, this little autistic girl look like she been abused, she been mishandled. Somebody need to come around here and get the police. Like what the hell? Like it doesn't make any sense, especially in this wonderful damn suburb. Because I'm reading about Alpine. Didn't they say that Mary J. Blige and Lil Kim stayed out there too? Like, it's
community.
Yeah, I don't believe this. It's not. I don't believe it. That girl is lying.
Shy. So then she tried to make fetch happen, okay, because this is how hard Tisha was going in the paint, baby. Okay, now despite this woman doubling down, okay. Wait, hold on. Let me get to this first, okay? So she also went on against legacy media, talked about how she done with the ableist society, and I'm just like, Tisha, just cut your shit, darling. Because she went on this ballistic tirade about how the girl claims her dad doesn't remember because he doesn't remember a lot of things. So Tisha suggests that the father is the one who may have cognitive decline. So for me, it's the selective storytelling. So he's so severely impaired in his memory, yet according to the accuser, he was mentally competent enough to drive to an undisclosed gas station in the middle of the night, 5 hours from home, without as much as a GPS system, because this was the year 2000, right? See, the part that Tisha wants to keep conveniently leaving out is the fact that this girl was autistic at the time as well. And from the interview, she sounds pretty low functioning, as she described her condition as living inside of a ball with inescapable fire inside of it. So why would this girl's father not have spoken to his daughter the entire car ride back, nor asked any questions, had no type of an emotional response to picking her up, why would he not have had the police go get his daughter from this gas station while he drove up? Where is the cashier to corroborate this? And who gas station allowed her to loiter around for 5 to 6 hours? And why didn't the employees call the police after all this girl was beaten and raped, thrown into a wall, violated by 2 adult men, then fled on foot through a whole property in a state and community, barely dressed? And you think if this story had actually happened, that adults working and coming in and going out of the gas station would not have informed the police that a visibly distressed and wounded 13-year-old autistic girl was lost and indeed in need of medical aid? You talking about what the father doesn't remember? No, baby. It seems the only person memory who isn't working is the damn accuser. Everybody else, from Jay-Z to her father to Benji Madden, the celebrities she claims she talked to at the party, all remember that they were not in fact fucking there. The irony is that she's the one in the interview talking shit about her father's memories, while she the one in the same breath telling NBC News that her memory failed her ass. And she's having to acknowledge the errors in her own damn account. I mean, Megan, anything you want to say before I go any further?
Child. Tisa, I know you know she watching. Tisa, is it worth it? Is it worth it to get up here and look stupid, clownish? You might as well put your fucking clown shoes and nose on at this point. Is it worth it to get up here and look stupid? Ops, bitch. You out here, you know, making it harder for your victims.
Yeah.
Bitch, you a whole op. Child. You might as well get you one of them, what's that girl that's got Down syndrome and she be rapping Ice Spice? Get you an Ice Spice wig.
Ice Spice.
Child, just go ahead and be a clown.
Nah. What she never tells us, because, you know, Tisha was going on about, you know, oh, you know, NBC News ain't say this and why they didn't do this. Well, for Little Miss Leprechaun Bob, why she never told us how she treated her injuries? Why she never went to the authorities? Of the limousine driver, the description of the employees who allow her to use the phone, not to mention that she described a white house and no house with lights on it looks white. It still looks brown and brick and very much so mortar. So this
she said it was white.
She said it was white.
Child.
A whole white home. So this autistic woman is not capable of lying. I mean, that would just be absurd, right? But she's capable of lying to her father, leaving the house without permission, trying to scam her way inside of a show she doesn't have a damn ticket to attend, and thirsty enough to jump her ass into cars with random men in hopes of meeting celebrity men. Oh, that's not worth a character check. But you're rallying for her innocence, even if the story was real, which is not. This 13-year-old made a lot of manipulative, intentionally deceptive choices, boo. So she is not above being argued to be a fucking liar, and she did indeed lie. Not only to her father, not only to Tony Busby, but she lied to her damn self. Tisa says that we have proof that Eminem performed on the street that year. Nosy. She said that, you know, if you just fast forward the timeline to 2003 and you make the situation work, despite the fact that Lil Miss Leprechaun Bob doubled down twice in her original complaint and then doubled down again in the amended complaint and said, no, bitch, it was 2000, not 2003. Okay? And Little Miss Leprechaun Bob said that Eminem even performed on the streets that year. Well, guess what?
They said he performed with some lookalikes.
Oh, no. And guess what year he performed on the streets, Nosy? Year 2000. Tisha Tell is so hell-bent and passionate to make her timeline work outside of
what really happened.
the actual accuser is saying, that it might as well be Tisha ass sitting in that scooter rubbing that goddamn rabbit's foot to death. Because at this point, I don't know whose story it is, the accuser or is it Tisha Tell's situation? And Tisha said everything works. We got Eminem performing in 2003 at the VMAs. We got the house that we now know Diddy didn't even purchase until 2004, which is even after Tisha's timeline, and it's damn sure after Lil Miss Leprechaun Bob's timeline in 2000.
Debunk.
Oh, but guess who else? Because, you know, she's saying, you know, both Diddy and Jay-Z, they were both at the 2003 VMAs, but guess who else was at the year 2000 VMAs? Jay-Z, as you see here, the 2000 MTV Video Music Award, the 7th annual MTV Music Awards with appearances by Cisco, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Bobby Brown, Jay-Z. And guess who was also in attendance? Guess who else was in attendance? Hold on. It was
Puffy,
Diddy and J-Lo. Also in attendance. And
so is J-Lo supposed to be the woman that was in the room? Is that what they trying to say?
They never said who. You know, it's being wondered why. Okay, this them on the red carpet together. So yes, Jay-Z and Diddy were at the 2003 Video Music Awards, but they were also at the Video Music Awards of 2000. And I just want to know why Tisha felt it to make this woman a whole different age in order to make fetch happen. She said the girl now had to have been 16 in order to make Tisha Tell's timeline make sense. Not to mention that she has not produced any argument why a low-functioning autistic woman who needs an emotional support teddy bear could make her way as a 13-year-old girl 5 hours across town, try to fraud her way into a event, and then jump her ass into a limousine with an unknown man to an undisclosed location, and then
We're gonna stop it right there and shout out to all of our new followers as the live has been living. K's Fun Shop Zone, Linen Rebenkos, Warza Online Store, All Things Nail Supply LLC, Lash Babe Headquarters, True Gemini, Joe Rivers 2, Reagan Ember Marie, Bougie Young, Deshauna Reed, Prince by Kingsley King's Prince, Stanley LaPires, Rashandria Sanders, Michi Enigma, Petronella Chikwina, Kimiti Paul, Lady Pamela Fan, Che Amon, Shell DeBlair, Sammy Samantha, Yvette Pippins, Andre Thomas, and MD Bogan have all became followers of Tanisha Talks Tees since we've been live. Thank you for following, and please stay tuned. We have much in store. Blessings.
be zooted up on all type of great drugs because she said she took that drink and felt woozy, and then have the did it so hard she was able to escape. To your point, and I said this in a live stream before, from all of the accounts from Don Richards to Lil Rod, we found in Lil Rod's lawsuit where Diddy get a room at the Red Roof Inn for the night. So Lil Miss fire inside of a ball managed to commence to all of this and then viciously escaping us, fleeing the property with no goons in sight. Nobody saw her on the road. Nobody to corroborate this experience. The woman who drove her dead as hell. Daddy ain't heard about none of this shit until Tony Busby stepped into the goddamn timeline. And the only person who remembers anything, baby, is little Miss Leprechaun Bob. But it gets even more interesting, though. No, see? It gets even more interesting, baby. It gets even more interesting because where my notes at, baby? Oh, okay. Let's get back to my notes, child.
She might have a thyroid issue. What is it that made Wendy Williams' eyes bug out? Was it her thyroid? Remember Wendy Williams' eyes?
A Graves' disease is
Graves
what
disease. Maybe she got Graves' disease. Maybe Tisha got Graves' disease.
Oh, yeah. I hope not. I would not want that for Tisha.
Her eyes be bugging out. Look at every picture. Her eyes, but go ahead. What you were saying?
I would just not want her brain to bug out on the story, baby, because Tisha tells. But we is gonna get to that though. So Eminem did not perform in the street in 2003. That was 2000. Since you want to quote this woman and just admit that what this woman said is inconsistent. This woman herself, her shit is inconsistent. So how the hell you trying to make her shit fit and she ain't even trying to make it fit because she's clear that this went down in the year 2000, baby. Okay, then Tisha Tell goes in on NBC News and Legacy Media, not doing more work to see if the girl claim was plausible. Excuse me, honey. That's not NBC's job. That's not even our job as commentators. That's her lawyer's job.
Yep.
Okay? To do, not NBC journalists. Tisha seems to forget that this girl is the one who has the burden to prove her claims true, including where, when, and who the hell she filed against. Okay, not once, but twice that these events, in fact, happened in the year 2000 because she has impeccable memory. Remember, Tisha? Compared to her father. But she's the one, once again, retracting and redacting and backpedaling and pussy popping. Jay-Z doesn't have to consider if she meant 2003. All he has to do is refute her claims that this shit happened in the year 2000. And even if you consider that the 2003 timeline is a real timeline because it gets better than the year 2001, doesn't mean that it's still happened any more in 2003 than it did in the year 2000, since this girl has zero key witnesses to corroborate her story, on top of the fact that if you was nifty enough, Tisha, to find you a U-shaped driveway on Google owned by Diddy, guess who else, to your point, had the same accessibility to Google? Miss Fire in a Ball. Remember, you the one who almost lost your damn edges trying to make fetch happen because all this tea is so easily available, Tisha. That's what you said, Tisha. All this so easy. I don't know why they didn't. Well, thank you for proving my fucking point, because she didn't file this suit until October of this year, which means that she could have derived her story the month she got her ass online to figure out some key facts to help make her story make sense, just like you did. Yeah. And yet the story still falls short of the facts, as there's zero witnesses from the gas station. Her father doesn't recall. Musicians don't recall anything she said she met. They weren't even in New York in the year 2000. Eminem performed outside the BMA in the year 2000, not 2003. There's no great kits, no police report, no hospitalization. Not to mention, you keep skipping over how her, once again, as an autistic woman who suffered a head injury as well prior to these events, and yet you don't think it's more plausible that she's just a 36-year-old clout-chasing, neuro-spicy woman who's having seizures from that head fantastical imagination to go along with it. No, that's not plausible, considering that there's enough medical issues going on here to completely impose that is more than plausible. But in Tisha's mind, this mentally impaired woman who feels like there's fire in her brain at all times fled to New York with the woman ironically dead now and made her way around Times Square and into a Diddy party, and then through the woods in the middle of the night where nobody else reported seeing a distressed teenager, white female, trailing it on foot, where there would be no witnesses, no street lights to Royce Point, No witnesses from the gas station either. And she was taken back home by a father who asked her zero questions about her whereabouts, not her injuries, nor questions about whether she needed medical attention. And to make matters worse, her father literally said once again that this is the first time he's ever even heard of this bullshit. And you don't think her fantasies are inspired by the recent year-long press on Diddy? Not to mention she didn't even include Jay-Z, the other alleged rapist in the initial lawsuit. Get the fuck out of here. Her lawyer's job was to take on a case well vetted. Oops, I forgot. Tony Busby said he ain't do no goddamn vetting aside from interviewing her ass. So if her attorney let her get out here and make a damn fool of herself with these claims, how much more delicate does NBC News, Nosy Whole Live, or anybody else supposed to be? She the one who doubled down twice in an amended complaint that this happened in the year 2000. And unless you are Miss Fire inside of all herself, Tisha, just calm the fuck down. But then Tisha also tried to change the girl's whole entire age from 13 to 15 to 21 to 16 to make her timeline work, despite the accuser doubling down on the fact that it was the year 2000 and then acted like nobody would be able to distinguish, like you said, Nosy, memories that they had as a 13-year-old, which are very distinct memories versus the ones you're going to acquire at the age of fucking 16.
Yep. That's two different important points in a young girl's life. They're completely separate. You don't mix up the two.
You don't mix up the two. Like you said, my 16-year-old life was a very different lifestyle than my 13-year-old lifestyle. The fuck?
The things you're allowed to do as a 16-year-old versus 13 is completely different. The way you have developed at 16 versus 13, you just don't mix up those 2 years because they're too different. It's very different. It's a very different experience being 16 versus 13. That's why you don't see 16-year-olds hanging out with 13-year-olds, because you're in different points developed as far as like mentally and physically developing. You're in different points in life. I don't see how she mixed the two up, because she's lying. She's lying.
She can't, and she didn't, because once again, there's so many inconsistencies. Right? We just debunked the house, so we know that it didn't. That house ain't the house on period. So where the hell was she then?
Yeah.
You know that Eminem performed outside in the middle of the street in the year 2000, not 2003. She was autistic with a goddamn head injury. See, it's just clear to me that Tisha has to force fetch, because she is the one who got out here and pounced on the fact that this was the beginning of the end for Jay-Z because of these allegations. But now Miss Anonymous, Alex Spiro, and Jay-Z are able to prove that this is frivolous and just not factually and historically true and correct, and that this case will be dismissed. And she just can't take that L publicly. So now she got to find another year where some of this can work in order to save not this woman, but to save her own fucking ego and public image. As much as she's trying to stand on her soapbox talking about she for neuro spicy ass people. This has nothing to do with you standing in the gap for a neurospicy woman. This is about your obsession to be right in the face of facts, because you are narrative driven, and that is what makes people like Tisha Tales dangerous. Tisha Tales slamming NBC News on exposing this woman's inconsistencies is also the same person, ironically, who did not push against any of Lil Rod's inconsistencies during their interview regarding all of the freak shit that he had to edit out of his initial complaint and had to also amend, such as the fake ass Stevie J corn tape that wasn't a Stevie J, all that shit about Christian Combs and P. Diddy's sons shooting some man in the damn studio. That happened a block away, not in Lil Rod's studio, not in the bathroom of his studio. That shit happened 2 fucking blocks away, and there are police reports to corroborate that. So Tisha Tales has a particular issue with being selective about when it means something to her ass to call out inconsistencies or to make them work the same way she done tried to make Lil Rod bullshit work. But my head is just spinning because it's the narcissistic tendencies for me. I just can't believe her ego is this big that she just can't accept the L knows it.
You know what? It was as much as me and Nicki Minaj have, had all the fights that we have had. It's been plenty of times that I felt like Nicki Minaj wasn't wrong in a situation, or somebody was being unfair, and I would report that. I'm not gonna get on there and just say, "Well, fuck her because she sued me. Let me just side with everybody to go against her." I just report what's going on and tell the fucking truth. When this story first came out, I was at my friend's place, like a little bit wine drunk. And I could not believe what I was reading. I finally checked my email. People have flooded my email with victim sues Jay-Z. I was like, yes, finally got to bitch. Let me go home, bro. I gotta go get on my Twitch. I gotta go home and get on Twitch and stream this. And on the way, I called Shanitra, who was like, you know what? Look at what Jay-Z said. Look at how you responded. As much as I want Jay-Z to go down, because I know for a fact that Jay-Z has done things to children. I'm saying I know it for a fact. I don't care who don't like it. I know for a fact that he did. I know that. But he didn't do this. And so as much as I want him to go down, I'm still not going to get on my channel, on my platform, and lie and try to make this make sense and do mental gymnastics. It doesn't make any sense. The story doesn't make any sense. And when I first saw Jay-Z's statement, I knew this was false. That man said, I implore you to file criminal charges. Child, they posted that about 10 times. I guess they really wanted that to be seen real bad.
Oh, I just saw it, child. I was in the boat.
They just keep posting it, girls. They be spamming the hell out the chat. But yeah, that man said, I implore you to file criminal charges. I said, you know what? Jay-Z didn't do this one. He didn't do it. Jay-Z don't even respond to nothing. It was just something about the way he responded. I was
brought the Alpine NJ property until 2004.
Oh.
She never made it make sense how this woman commuted through the damn air or on the road as a 13-year-old autistic girl with a head damn injury all night long. She questioned every damn body else around this situation. Did it? Jay-Z, the limo driver, the house, and she never questioned whether Lil Miss firing the ball. It's just lying out of her flippin' ass brain. And that's why she's the only motherfucker in this situation who can remember a goddamn thing happening. And then gonna come forward and admit she told lies. And here it is. You still got Tisha telling that this woman told the goddamn truth and talking about, oh no, it's enough evidence. It's enough evidence to move the case forward. No, bitch, it's not. Because saying that a landmark existed, saying that McDonald's was at the end of the street corner is not enough, baby, because what you got to do is make the rest of her story make motherfucking sense, too. Because guess what? Little Miss Fireball, since she was able to describe that U-shaped driveway that anybody can Google, according to Tisha Tales, anybody can Google it, right? Miss Leprechaun Bob didn't file her suit to this year, so she had time to do her fair share of Googling too, right? All she had to do is give a voice command to Chat GPT, baby, and she could have found that information. But if she can describe the U-shaped driveway, since she the one who said she ran up and through the walls, baby, and she ran out the front door, get Little Miss Fireball ass to describe the interior design of that motherfucking house as well, because she should be able to do just that.
Yeah.
She should be able to do just that too. See, Tisha Tale can't get away with trying to be non-biased, because non-biased would have been entertaining the pendulum swinging from left to right. Yeah. If she would have also been just as critical about how this shit don't make no fucking sense. It's not fucking plausible. Once again, this woman couldn't even sit in front of a news reporter as herself without shrouding her identity, rubbing on a goddamn teddy bear. And you gonna tell us that this woman was competent as a 13-year-old girl, but she ain't even competent as a 36-year-old ass woman.
Yeah.
She ain't even competent as a damn adult woman. Yet alone a 13-year-old left to her own devices in the middle of Times Square all night long.
That woman used them little hands to rub that bear. I couldn't believe that. At 30-something, rubbing a stuffed animal. Some ain't right with all this, and the fact that people just are running with it, it's crazy. You know, when Jay-Z really does get caught up in what he has done for years. You know, I think I sent you the lawsuit against Jay-Z from back in the day. Jay-Z, Harvey Weinstein, and Jeffrey Epstein. They were all sued for similar stuff from what this girl is talking about. When the actual victims really, you know, start talking, people are not going to believe them. And I think that's exactly what Tony Busby is trying to do for Diddy. But he's throwing Jay-Z in there because he wants the same, what Diddy is doing, the same way Diddy's downfall came from one lawsuit. He's trying to do that to Jay-Z. He's mad because Jay-Z is not really standing by him while he's going through this and in prison and all that. That pissed him off. So now he told Busby, you know what? Get Jay-Z next. I really wholeheartedly, completely believe that Tony Busby works for Diddy. And at first I was thinking maybe Jay-Z told Tony Busby to do this. Maybe Jay-Z said, well, look, if you are here doctoring up cases to make Diddy look innocent, we might as well get a head start on my shit because you know some shit about to come out about me. So go ahead, put a victim out there and say I did something to her so we can debunk it. So I look innocent when the real shit comes out. At first I was thinking that. But nah, I don't know. I think that Diddy told Busby to throw Jay-Z under the bus. Like, nah, go ahead, throw that nigga in there because then that's going to bring out all the shit that he's done. Just throw some little bullshit in there and then people going to start talking. He's going to go down. He's going to be in here with me. I really believe that. But you know what? I'm the crazy nosy hoe. I'm the crazy nosy hoe.
No, because these attorneys are crooked enough and they do that level of conspiracy.
Look at what happened with my attorney. You mean to tell me that man has been a lawyer for that long, for that many people, for T-Pain, for Don Sterling, for all these famous people, and he fumbled my case that bad? That should have been open, shut case. Done. Just like Tony Busby. You mean to tell me Tony Busby has been a lawyer for this long and he didn't do any kind of vetting?
None.
He didn't do nothing. He didn't look up anything. He didn't try to find out what the father was going to say. He didn't try to look up the home. He did nothing. He vetted nothing. He's fumbling this bad. A lot of his cases are getting thrown out because he's not getting permission from the court for those people to file as John or Jane Doe. He's just submitting a bunch of lawsuits and they're getting thrown out. He's having to do it again or whatever. It's making him look crazy. And people think that, oh, well, why would he play with his own reputation like that? That man is ready to retire. He just got a big check from Diddy. He don't give a goddamn about how he looked to y'all. He don't give a fuck. This is going to be his last case. I bet you. After this, he's going to go retire with his millions and mind his business. He don't give a damn.
If he don't have to give them millions back to Jay-Z, because Jay-Z sued his ass for extortion, then he got 2 more former clients on his ass for scheming and scamming them. But, you know, that is an interesting hypothesis because this would be a very solid way to scramble up the board. You find an attorney who pretends to represent for the alleged abuse so that Diddy can extract information about who the fuck is who's saying what, who claims it, so he can prepare his defense against all these motherfuckers. And Tony Busby intentionally spends his time taking on the people with the weakest goddamn cases so that by the time this shit reach a jury next year, that we will already be conditioned to not believe no motherfucking body because everybody done been caught up in a bunch of bullshit. You got Lil Miss firing a ball out here with her goddamn teddy bear talking about she done, girl. It's gonna be a shit show. Now that is plausible. Attorneys are fucked up.
People can believe whatever they want to believe. I don't give a fuck what kind of scenarios you think I'm creating. That man works for Diddy. I don't give a fuck what you think. That man he's not making those kinds of mistakes. As a fucking long time practicing goddamn attorney, making these dumbass mistakes, not betting anything, knowing that this is his reputation and his money and cases on the line.
Why? I mean, there was hamburgers in the refrigerator.
When you've been in your profession for years, you do this like it's like you know this like the back of your hand. You know you need to vet these people and figure out what's going on. This is Diddy. This is high profile. This is Jay-Z. This is high profile.
That's good.
You don't go where you find the smoking gun. You find something that they cannot deny. That's what you do. It don't matter what they say. I found this part of it. You can't deny that. Make it. Explain to me how I found this if she's lying. That's what you do when you're really trying to represent someone and you really want to win the case. He don't give a damn about winning. He cares about, I got my Diddy check and I'm about to make all these hoes that's coming out, I'm going to make them all look crazy. That's what he's doing.
And guess what? Tony Busby told us in the last press conference, or it was in a statement to the New York Post, that a lot of celebrities have already started settling out of court with him and his thing. So he's already, baby, he's already taken care of. And we can tell that he don't give a fuck about Little Miss Sunshine over here because he allowed her ass to sit up there and be completely torn into smithereens by NBC News. He left her ass out there
with lettuce and cheese and mustard and mayo.
All about the shakedown to fucking begin with. It didn't work because Jay-Z put a uno and then a draw 4 in this particular situation, and now Busby he done used up for what she was needed for, baby. He on to the goddamn next, and now he having to come behind her talking about, I didn't bet her, she came from somewhere else, and then Tisha also didn't deal with that part because how Tony Busby claimed that Lil Miss Leprechaun Bob came from another law firm that she was recommended. What law firm operates that way? If that law firm had vetted her ass and knew they had a viable case to make good coin off of, you think they was going to let go of their viable case and give that over to fucking Tony Busby? That's fucking up they bag. No, obviously, if she had been passed the fuck along, it was because her case was fucking weak. So they gave her to a nigga that could hopefully extort some motherfuckers behind the scenes and get paid off the story because there was nothing to officially make do with of the story. And then you got Elisa in the comments talking about Gloria Allred. Y'all be talking about these fucking celebrity attorneys. Have y'all done any research? Do you know how many times Gloria and her dry blowed ass mammy and daughter done been fucking sanctioned in the court? Tyrone Blackburn, Gloria, all these motherfuckers are considered court clowns.
Yeah.
They're not taken seriously. Unfortunately, most people have to stay the fuck away from these motherfuckers. Gloria is the same motherfuckers who represented one of Usher's accusers. And then 3 weeks into their press conference, turned around and said she only lied on Usher dick and STDs because she wanted to know how to fuck 15 minutes of fame failed. Gloria was the same one who fucked up a Black China's case with the goddamn Kardashians. And dropped her like a goddamn bad habit after using her ass for clout.
Yeah.
Tyrone Blackburn is the one who represented Sabita Peterson, who out here now experiencing a reverse Uno and being sued by T.I. and goddamn Tiny and owe them goddamn hundreds of thousands and millions of goddamn motherfucking dollars. And if Tony Busby is not a Diddy informant, then what he is just another money-hungry, clout-chasing, ignorant buffoon who hides behind the title of a lawyer in order to fucking grift off of people with coin like all of his previous clients who are suing his ass.
Child. It's getting messy. I'm watching this shit.
2025 gonna be explosive. No, see?
Yeah. I told people in 2020 that 2024 was gonna bring some shit because that shit adds up to 8. I told people. But you know, when I start talking about the astrology and the numerology, they think I'm crazy then too. I don't give a goddamn. I told y'all 4 years ago that 2024 was gonna be a motherfucker. And we started out with Cat Williams unloading the clip on everybody, Diddy getting arrested, everybody being exposed. We done had a fucking election. It's been a crazy year. I told y'all it was gonna be crazy. It's been a crazy goddamn year. 2025 about to be crazy too. This was just a prequel. Ooh.
And do you know what you just made me think of? You know, is that all the shit that's going to be going down independently of 2025 is also going to be going down under a Trump America. So
well, you know I voted for that man. So.
You know that is, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's gonna be fireworks, baby, because it's gonna be all this stuff going on, coupled with dealing with Trump as officially next year, because he's gonna be sworn in. All right, boo. I'll see you later, boo.
Okay. So there we have it. Okay. As the title read. All right. The little white liar has been debunked in the extortion attempt on Jay-Z. Okay. White girl claims to have been 13, raped at a mansion party from a VMA's concert. All seemingly is a farce. It, you know, from the moment we saw the white girl, me and my husband gave each other an immediate look like, yeah, right. Wasn't believable. It's, you know, such a sad time in our lives when we are always so quick to want to see somebody of wealth, somebody of elite status, be taken down by absolutely nothing in our society and be reduced to fucking rubble. Unfortunately, a lot of us have that slave mentality where we want to see, you know, the ones that are given the wealth, given the, you know, notoriety or however have you in life, fall under some, you know, way. So that was the piece, y'all. Conscious TV and Nosy Ho, they really broke it down for us so that we can more thoroughly understand exactly what that's looking like. There's also a piece by Forbes that came out with Spiro. Okay. They broke some news from the case. And we're going to take a listen to that now.
When you're trying to evaluate
so this is the attorney for Jay-Z. He had a press conference briefing us on the recent allegations. Forbes is breaking this news. We're going to use this under fair use and, you know, fair use because it's on YouTube. So it's for fair use. Let's listen.
Something occurred. You have to look at different pieces of the narrative, the location, where it happened, the witnesses, who were they, what did they say, the details. Details are very important in time. So we start off with the location. And according to their complaint, after approximately 20 minutes, she arrived at a White House with a U-shaped driveway and a gate. There is no such location in New York, 20 minutes from Radio City. It does not exist. There is no such location. We don't know whether they created a location in order to try to get jurisdiction in New York so they could bring this case in New York, or whether they just didn't do their homework. But any New Yorker knows there is no such location. Beyond that, this was supposed to have taken place at Mr. Combs' after party, according to them. When you look at the homes associated with Mr. Combs during that period of time, and even not during that period of time, none of them matches. He had a townhouse, he had a house in the Hamptons hours away, and he had homes in New Jersey, but not at that time. None of the homes work, the location doesn't work because this never happened. And again, when you really bear down on the location and his whereabouts, you quickly realize, because if there's photographic evidence and witnesses are coming forward, that Mr. Carter was at a commercial establishment after the VMAs. He wasn't at a house. Unfortunately for them, they needed to create this house in order to create the narrative. But he wasn't at a White House that did not exist. And this is a photograph of him at a location after the VMAs.
Listen, you want to...
Okay, so as they are over there paying bills, we are listening to the attorney for Sean Puffy Combs. Oh, I'm sorry, but Jay-Z, Sean Carter, same name, different guy. Okay. And he is breaking down all of the debunking elements of the case of why his, case defending Jay-Z will go nowhere, basically. Okay.
Jane Doe does not say that the assault happened at a commercial establishment. She can't. That wouldn't make any sense. Yet they stand by it. They double down. They triple down. White House, White House. The White House doesn't exist. And then we get to the witnesses. And I think at the outset, everybody has to remember that in 24 years, not a single witness has ever come forward saying this happened. Quarter of a century. Think about that. She says she's at the party alone, this 13-year-old girl, and she finds herself in the room with the three most famous people at the party. Just think about how unnatural, how little common sense that makes. And according to her, one of the witnesses is a female celebrity who's just standing there watching the repetitive rape of a child. That celebrity does nothing, says nothing, reports nothing, and in fact, they won't even identify her. According to them, there's an adult female in the room watching the rape of a child. They refuse to identify her. So then we continue, and you look and there's celebrities that she says she's mingling with before. Afterwards, she says she runs out of the house naked. Runs out of the house naked. None of them notice that. None of them pay any notice. For 24 years, none of them has said anything. And so she's just asked in this interview, she's asked, well, I mean, celebrities are recognizable people. Surely you can tell us one celebrity that was there. Just give us one name so that we know this happened. And she says, okay, Benji Madden was there. And she wants to conjure up religion and say, I'm religious. I remember his tattoo. She looks and remembers so vividly the tattoo and the conversation with Mr. Madden. Well, Mr. Madden wasn't there. He already said he wasn't there. His tour schedule said he wasn't there. And he wasn't there because this never happened. None of this ever happened. And you keep going, and you ask yourself, well, who is this complaining witness? She does not come forward with her real name. She proceeds under Jane Doe. There's no report to the police. According to her, she never tells anybody for 24 years. Not one person, not alone in the car for 5 hours at home, on her way home. Not one person, not a diary, not a family member, not a friend. Most people, when this happens, there's a need to tell somebody. We call these prompt outcry witnesses. In most complaints like this, people tell somebody. She says nobody for 24, 25 years. And then we get to the details. And I want to make sure this is clear. When people make up an account, whether intentionally or their mind is playing tricks on them, they can always get that core part of the story right. They can just keep repeating it over and over and over again. This is what happened, that core part. But they're always going to mess up the details. When something isn't real, when something doesn't happen, you're going to get the details wrong because you weren't really there. And so she starts with her story about her friend that dropped her off. Okay? This drive of over 5 hours, the friend would have had to have gone 10 plus hours to drop her off. Are there any fries left? Because she's got to get there. If this is real, she's got to get there. But guess what? This friend of hers, she doesn't get out of the car, right? Think about that. She's just leaving a 13-year-old girl alone in Midtown. She doesn't even want to get out of the car. She came all that way. There can't be a witness there. She can't have a witness there because this never happened. So as you keep going, you ask yourself, but how did she end up in the car in the first place? And so she creates this story. She says, I snuck out the window, right? But now we know she came from Rochester. So she would have been sneaking out of the window. at 3 in the afternoon in the middle of broad daylight. Never heard of such a thing, defies common sense, doesn't make any sense because this never happened. And so she tells this story because she's got to create a way that she gets out of the house and ends up in New York City. And as we keep going here, the friend that implausibly leaves her there, there's then some pressure on that part of the story because it doesn't make any sense. And so the lawyer is asked, well, just produce the friend.
Thank you for all
so he has
those
to find
100
somebody
people viewing
that can make this work.
and all
of
the new
course,
followers.
as soon as he's pressed,
You've been
they find
live.
somebody who they say is no longer alive. They can't corroborate it, and there's nobody to talk to. Okay, and if we can keep going. Next slide. So she then gets there, right? And she has this vivid tale of watching it on a Jumbotron. It's in her complaint. Clear as day. There was no Jumbotron that year. Okay? I don't know whether they were Googling images and found the wrong year. I don't know whether she's just making it up out of whole cloth. There is no Jumbotron. In fact, they didn't even get a permit, according to the police and the city, for the Jumbotron that year. So that didn't happen. None of the details are right because this never happened. If we can keep going. And then she says, I'm knocking on the door windows of limousines and VIPs. Of course, that doesn't work. If you look at the video, photographs, that whole area was blocked off. We've spoken to numerous people there that were in security. No one could have gotten anywhere near those cars because this never happened. She gets that fact wrong. And you know, the whole story about, of all people, she knocks on Puff's window. 13-year-old girl in Midtown by herself. Just think about that. Think about how illogical that is. Keep going. Again, this is Eminem performing in the streets. No Jumbotron. All the cars barricaded. Her facts don't check out because this never happened. We keep going. So what ends up happening then, and this is important, is her original account in the original complaint says that at 9:30 or 10, she's told to wait there to get a ride to the after party. Okay? That also doesn't work because there's photographs now of Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter at commercial establishments in New York after the VMAs. So this narrative of at 10 o'clock she ends up at this party can't work. They got caught. So they change it in the amended complaint that there's this multiple drop-off and pickup that lands them at this White House that doesn't exist. So as we continue, this is again her account of trying to change the story into this multiple drop-off period to get them at the house to deal with the fact that there's photographic evidence that that's not where the after party was in the first place. And so as this account continues, you have to look at the timeline. You have to look at the timeline. So there's an old expression that time doesn't lie. Everything else that I'm talking about, these glaring inconsistencies, these are not minor inconsistencies. These are not minor problems with this story. This is utter falsehoods. Time never lies. And so if you look at the time, no matter what, this couldn't have happened. It's not even possible that this happened. And this is so important. So again, now that we know that it's a 5-hour drive in each direction, how she gets to the VAs, okay, we're going to talk in some detail about this White House and whether or not they could have gotten there. And then again, Doe returns home to Rochester, okay? And this is very important. Because she returns home, she has to leave the New York area by 1:30 in the morning at the latest, okay? If you look at any of these White Houses and you look at the closest gas stations that could be to any of these White Houses, you have to leave this White House party by 12:45 in order to get to the gas station at 1:30 to call your father to pick you up to get home to Rochester at 6:30. So remember, she only has till 12:45 for everything that she says to have happened. The VMAs end at after 11. So you're talking about a window of a little more than an hour that this could possibly have happened even by their own account. And she says, during that little bit more than an hour, not only does she get to the house, not only is she inside mingling with celebrities, she has a drink, she's then sexually assaulted in front of an adult female multiple times. She gets out of that, she fights through it, she leaves the house naked, she gets all the way to the gas station. She had 37 minutes to possibly do this. Okay, even under their account. Okay, and of course, the biggest problem perhaps of all is there's photographs put putting Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at different places, not in a White House during that 37 minutes. So when I tell you that it's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true, it's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened. So we talked about this 37 minutes. The earliest, even if we didn't have that establishments. Remember, this is innocence on top of innocence. Even if we didn't have that, according to her, the earliest they could have gotten to the house is 12:11. And the reason for that is if the VMAs end and the drive is 20 minutes, the driver has to go there, drop them off, come back, pick her up, bring her back. She can't get there. And again, this is lickety split. This is as fast as is possible, okay? This is no traffic leaving Radio City in Midtown during an awards ceremony. 12:11. She has to leave that white residence by 12:48 in order for her father to pick her up at the gas station. 37 minutes. That's the entire window of opportunity.
Shout out to all of the Tea Talkers, where we have reached 101 views during this live at this time. I'm going to pause the show and shout out all of our new followers. We have, during this live, K's Fun Shop Zone, Linen Rabancos, Warsaw Online Store, All Things Nail Supply, LLC. Shout out to you, Lash Babe Headquarters, True Gemini, Joe Rivers 2, Reagan Ember Marie, Bougie Young, Deshauna Reed, Prince by Kingsley, King's Prince, Stanley Lapiras, Rashidria Sanders, Michi Enigma, Petronella Chiquina, Kamita Paul, Lady Pamela Fan, Shay Iman, Shelda Blair, Sam Sammy Samantha, Yvette Pippins, Andre Thomas, MD Bogan, Andre Riles, Tiana Whittington. Thank you all for becoming Tea Talkers during this fantastic live. This live today, as the title states, the little white liar has been debunked in the extortion attempt on Jay-Z. Let's sip this hot tea on it tonight. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Bless the show with the Cash App at $Tanisha Talks Teas. Thanks for being here. And we have reached 101 viewers. Yeah, let's keep on keeping on, y'all. We're sipping this hot tea on tonight, the little white liar that tried to extort Jay-Z.
Here. So here again is the timeline. Shows the 11:11 VMAs end, the drop off, the pickup, and the drop off. Next slide. And again, here we are. You see the 37 minutes. This is the 42 minutes it takes to walk. This is the closest gas station. And this is, remember this is a 13-year-old girl walking who has issues, who is maybe drugged according to her, who's just been viciously raped multiple times, who was holding her own clothing, trying to get to a gas station that she had never been before. Okay?
Exactly.
No map, no cell phone, no nothing. Straight line, it's 42 minutes. Okay?
And who did she stop back in 2000? Who'd she get payphone change from? Where's the person that she had to have clearly gotten change for the payphone to use? Because she doesn't claim that she called 911. She claims she called her father, right? Payphones are not free. They don't even exist now. But in 2000, they did. And they cost, what, maybe 50 cents to use? If she was naked with a towel, where'd she pull 50 cents from? She would have obviously had to gotten it from a passerby, right? Where's the passerby? And they would be a witness to this. Let's keep listening.
Okay, this never happened. Next slide. These are all the things that they claim happened in that 37 minutes. Okay, and again, 37 is giving them every benefit of the doubt as how long this window could be. Every benefit of the doubt. But here's an even bigger problem. there are photographs of Mr. Carter and Mr. Combs at commercial establishments during the 37 minutes. They're not there. Even if you try to come up with the fastest possible timeline, I'm talking about no traffic, nobody getting in your way at the door, right to the bar kind of timeline, it still doesn't work. Because they had to leave Radio City, they had to go to the commercial establishments. Mr. Combs is photographed at 2 different commercial establishments with Jennifer Lopez, 2 establishments. They had to go to both of those establishments and get back to the White House. Get back to the White House before she has to leave at 12:30. None of this can work. And in fact, and I think this is very important, you will notice in the photographs that Ms. Lopez changes clothing between the 2 events that they go to in New York City. You can see in one photograph she's wearing one outfit and another. So she had to be able to, in this 40-minute window, get to multiple events. They're seen drinking, socializing. She has to change outfits, change her hair, all within 40 minutes to get to that White House in time. And you're saying to yourself, so that's not possible. You're right, it's not possible. It's because this never happened. And then we get to the end. She kept running until she reached a gas station. A female clerk noticed her, allowed her to use the phone. Plaintiff called her father and admitted that she had lied about her whereabouts. And this is a very small thing, very small. But remember, when you leave house and you're 13, you have to have a story. You either have to sneak out and not have a lie, or you tell your parents a lie. Sort of 2 options, right? Earlier, she says, well, I didn't tell my parents a lie, I just snuck out the window, right? Here, she says, well, I lied. See, do you know what that means? That means she's lying within her own story. They can't both be true. And I said earlier that no witnesses have come forward in basically a quarter of a century, except for one. Now there's one, her own father, the person who knows her best. And he came forward too. And he said, you know what? This never happened. This never happened.
Her own father, who she claims picked her up from this incident, says he does not recall picking Doe up after an alleged attack. At the time, her father would have driven more than 5 hours from their home to pick her up. He told NBC News that I feel like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. Okay, y'all, really? Seriously? This is insanely stupid. Okay.
And his attention was drawn to it. I feel like I would remember that. And they said, but you've got a lot going on. Maybe you forgot this. You've got a lot going on. They told him, listen, you've got a lot going on. Try to see if they pressed him, if he stuck to his story. He said, yeah, I have a lot going on, but that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. Of course it would stick in your mind. You drove 10 hours to pick up your 13-year-old daughter in New York City. It's not something you would forget. It's not something that he did forget because this never happened. And of course, just like the friend that couldn't be there at the beginning, you can't have a witness to something that never happened. When asked, well, what did you say to your father in the car? What did you talk about? Nothing. She says,
after you have just ran down, I don't know how many yards to get to a payphone, waited for your dad to get 5 hours to get you. Nothing was said, not I was raped, I was sexually assaulted, I was assaulted, anything, nothing. The car ride home for 5 hours was in complete dead silence. Just like this allegation should have been.
There can't be a conversation because this never happened.
Thank you.
And so you got to ask yourself what's going on here, right? And you all saw that videotape of her being interviewed in the shadowy room. She's holding a teddy bear. She's talking about her issues, her head trauma. She's been through a lot in her life, you can tell. And so who took advantage of this? Why are we here? Why is this story getting created? And I'll tell you who took advantage of this. This lawyer took advantage of this. That's what's going on here. And you can see here, now that this is starting to unravel and the truth is coming out, he's starting to walk away from it. He's saying, oh, sorry, this case was referred to our firm by another firm, so I didn't really check it out, is basically what he's saying. Right? He brings an accusation like this, attacks a man with the integrity of Mr. Carter, and all he has to say for himself now is, well, I didn't really check on this. I got a referral, trying to make a little bit of money, so we just went live with it. Next. Here's again the timeline that he went live with. In the face of this irrefutable, time doesn't lie evidence, he went live with it. And again, it doesn't work. This 37 minutes, it does not work. It does not work because there's photographs. There's photographs. You can find them on the internet of them. They're changing clothes. She's changed clothes. Do you know how long that takes for her to go to 2 events, change clothes, get inside, have drinks, they're socializing, they're not popping into these events. To then get back out into the suburbs somewhere at a house that doesn't exist? It's not possible. Actually not possible. He is for sure innocent of this accusation. Next slide. But you know, this lawyer, he doesn't care about things like this. The only other person he's brought a complaint against for just mere association, merely being at a Sean Combs party, he's already been wrong about that one too. He had to change that one. If you look at the next slide, he got the year wrong. He said there was a party in the Hamptons. Mr. Combs was in Saint-Tropez at the time. Didn't check out. 2 claims, neither are checking out. We could keep going. And we have this, individuals calling my office telling me story after story, and I'm not going to get sidetracked. People think I'm going to start saying, explaining he's a grifter and all these things about him. I'm not here to talk about him more than I need to. But there's people calling the office saying, yeah, they were being pressured to say stuff, to say that they were with Mr. Combs. These are affidavits. They're filed in court. This is what you're dealing with here. Next slide. And so this is who took advantage of the woman in the shadowy video. He gives a press conference, 1-800 number, and he claims 2 days after posting that press conference, 2 days, that he has 120 fully vetted plaintiffs, 120. Anybody that does this for real, anyone that knows what they're doing, knows to corroborate, to interrogate, and to be sure about even one person takes weeks. One person. You've got to find out if their story makes sense. Did they really get dropped off? Does any of it check out? Is there corroboration? Are there any witnesses? It takes weeks for one. He had 120 in 2 days. When he files these cases, he doesn't even enter his notice of appearance. He just has some other lawyer file and he holds these press conferences. He says, listen, anybody out there, just call the 1-800 number. If you can put yourself anywhere near a Sean Combs party at any point, we can go after the other celebrities there. We can make money together. Just call the 1-800 number. That's all you need to do. And then we'll send a letter to the celebrity. They're not going to want to have this in the public light. And they're going to be shaken down and they'll send us money. So he just called the number.
Wow.
And Mr. Carter said no. He said, that's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to put my foot down. And that's what he did. And I would urge any other celebrity that's being shaken down right now to do the same thing and to stand with truth. None of this ever happened. And what this 1-800 lawyer is doing, he's taking the justice away from this. He's destroying this opportunity and the voices of real victims. And it's got to end. So, are there any questions? Yes.
Sure. So for the people that are calling the office, I'm assuming if it's not dismissed, like worst case scenario, you guys move forward to try and show that everything will be sourced. What evidence are you guys submitting other than the constitution? Are you doing those people calling emails, between the text conversations where they're encouraging and stuff?
Yeah, so let me divide that question into 2 if I can. We expect the case to be dismissed. If it's not, eventually this will all crumble because it can't possibly have happened mathematically. You don't even need witnesses. They don't have any witnesses because this never happened, and you don't need witnesses because the time doesn't work. There's literally photographic evidence that proves that this could not have happened. In terms of what's going to happen to Mr. Busby for this racket and everything else going on, time will tell. But this is how things unravel. Yes, sir.
Who is Lex Intelligence, and has your firm ever hired them in connection with Tony Busby to investigate Tony Busby as he's alleged?
I don't know that firm, don't know those people, and the answer is no.
So this might just be an extension of the first question, but you said that there were people calling saying that the impression saying that can you elaborate on that, please? Are they calling you to say that?
Yeah, there was a witness that came forward that contacted my office and submitted an affidavit in court regarding this that accounted for what occurred on that day, which was they called the Busby firm. They said they had an inquiry. The inquiry had nothing to do with Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter, or any of this. And the people at the Busby firm said, well, why don't we try to push this in the direction of the Combs case? That's a better decision in sum and substance. That's a better way to go here. This individual refused to do that, contacted my office and signed them, and then an affidavit was submitted to court. Yes?
You mentioned the letters that Busby's been sending out to celebrities. What were your interactions on behalf of Mr. Carter before he was renamed in the amended complaint?
Well, after the letter was received, we obviously knew this was completely false and we weren't going to be shaken down. So the efforts were nothing because there was nothing to discuss in any meaningful way.
Do you know who the Jane Doe is, like her actual identity? Has there been research into that on your end?
Yeah, it's a fair question. Because she's been blacked out in the video and because a court has not unmasked her in court, I'm not going to get into her identity. You will notice that I did not get into some of her issues. I don't want to. It's really sad in many respects, and I don't want to get into that. So I'm not going to unmask her here today.
Has the accuser tried to reach out to Mr. Carter before, or any of his camp, or anyone?
Not to my knowledge. Yes.
Busby indicated that there was a second alleged victim. Has he given any notice that he's putting that claim as well?
No, and I would hope not after what's going on here. Yes.
You mentioned in your recent filing on this docket that you were intending to file a motion to dismiss. What's the timeline on that? Are you working on this?
Yeah, so we did file a motion to dismiss the day after this was filed. Right. The Rule 11 letter, which basically says that a lawyer is not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to not vet a claim and file a false claim in court, or it needs to come down. The way that works, and it's a little technical, is that the court has to allow you to file faster than you should otherwise be allowed to file. So we are hopeful that the court will respond today, and we will file that. If not, there are other things that we're going to do to bring the truth to light. Are there any other questions? Yes.
Are there any witnesses who will be corroborating Mr. Carter's testimony that he was not there that night? Or is that sort of what you're hinting at, that if necessary, you will provide those to?
Yeah, I mean, it's like asking to corroborate something that never happened. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of people that are going to say there was no party at the White House, that put all of these celebrities where they're already put in photographs in different places, not at a White House. Remember, according to her, all three of these people, I mean, you all have seen the photographs, I mean, on the internet, and I just showed you some. All three of these people would have had to have been at this White House together, alone in a room. Just think about that. Alone in a room with this 13-year-old girl at exactly the time that they're at commercial establishments. So I mean, there's no proof better than time. But of course, there are going to be people that are going to say that they were all out that night and nowhere near a White House, and they went to an after party at a commercial establishment, and this is all fantasy.
If this case is dismissed after that, are you guys decided definitely to file anything in addition, like an information lawsuit?
This issue with a lawyer taking advantage of the situation is going to be dealt with, I can assure you. And I think sort of stay tuned. I think the first thing today was to make sure that everybody understands. This is not an account of inconsistencies. I wanted everybody to understand that this never happened. This is completely false. And then we'll move forward from there. Yes?
What is Mr. Carter's account of that night? Does he say he was at multiple locations, just that nightclub, Lotus nightclub that he was photographed at?
Yeah, so I'm not going to get into sort of privileged communications and talk too much about that, but I will say that he was not at any house or any location. They were in New York City. They were at commercial establishments with lots of people around. This is obviously completely false.
How's Mr. Carter feeling?
He's upset. He's upset that somebody would be allowed to do this. It would make a mockery of the system like this. He's upset that this distracts and dissuades real victims from coming forward. He's upset that his kids and his family have to deal with this. He's upset, and he should be upset.
Is your firm investigating Busby talking to people around him as he's alleged in some of his legal suit against Gwen Emanuel?
Yeah, that suit went nowhere, as you saw. And what happens when people bring frivolous cases and run rackets like this is, of course, we're asking questions. I've got people contacting my office telling me chapter and verse about him. So we don't shut off the phone lines. I'm listening because I'm trying to figure out how this is allowed to proceed like this. Yes?
He posted a photo on his Instagram of 3 men at a door of his client, suggesting that investigators came and said that they would pay $1,000 for plaintiffs to file a suit against him. I mean, do you have any connection to those men that he photographed? Do those men have any connection to Gwen Emanuel?
Zero. Okay, I don't know whether it's completely false or not, but zero connection to those people. Have no idea what that is. Don't know whether he made it up out of whole cloth. Don't know if he's trying to distract from what he's under now. But no, there's no truth to that. Anything else?
Will Mr. Carter say anything more specifically about Mr. Combs? He didn't really address him in his statement, but anything since outlets and internet speculation have tried to affiliate the two of them, but he didn't really, in his statement, specifically say anything about any of the allegations.
I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that case. And there's nothing more to say. Yes?
And there was no filing before, and even after, there's a second, the woman celebrity that even joins in the room. That woman celebrity, whoever that is, has there been any other people that may have been with Mr. Carter or even Puff that night that I reached out to you guys just wanted to know what is happening, just so that they can prepare for kind of even a fight back like Jay-Z is right now?
Well, we know other celebrities have received letters, and we've spoken to other celebrities that were there that night that say this is what they know about this. This makes no sense, couldn't have happened because they were all at a commercial establishment. So I hope that answers your question. Yes?
Was there a specific amount of money or something specific that was demanded of Mr. Carter in this demand letter that was sent to you before the complaint was filed?
There isn't a specific number that has been demanded.
But did they specifically ask for money?
In the demand letter, what did...
Yeah, so you know, I've been asked this question before. People like this, they don't send demand letters out to not get money. That's all they want. Okay, this is not for truth and justice. This is for money. So the request was to sit down and talk about a way to resolve this matter. And we all know what that means. Yes?
Do you have any plans to release the demand letter?
Not as I stand here today. I'm more concerned with making sure that everybody knows this didn't happen. I know there's a lot of questions about this lawyer and who's after him and how much wrong has he done and these questions, and I totally understand that and respect those questions, but we'll turn to that later. Anything else? Not to my knowledge. Yes?
Busby indicated that there was a second alleged victim. Has he given any notice that she's pursuing that thing?
Okay, so there y'all have it, right? On tonight, we have lots of evidence of the debunking of the little white girl liar that has came out and said that Jay-Z was the second person in the room to have raped her with Sean Puffy Combs. Lots of speculation going around. Buzz up to it to include Jay-Z because Diddy's on his pity potty and very disturbingly angry that he may be the only one, well, not the only one, but Jay-Z not accompanying him in a 4x4 or 8x8 or whatever the hell jail cell next to him. So, I mean, yeah, lots of speculations, lots of theories going around. People are, you know, how the times are. You run with bullshit, and then, you know, ones of us that are awake, we don't. Okay, so that was ending our show tonight on Tanisha Talks of the Lawyers Spyro for Jay-Z. He has came out giving a lot of direct, you know, evidential evidence of what it looks like for Jay-Z to not have even been anywhere in the vicinity of the situation to have possibly have occurred. And he's standing on that. He's not backing down. He's not paying Besby from the demand letter to go in and mediate the situation or anything like that. Jay-Z said he's not going to allow this to stand, you know, next to him in any area of life. Jay-Z does own a lot of, you know, proprietors, things like football. He is the head guy in charge for headlining the Super Bowl game halftime show. He has lots of, I mean, he's Beyonce's husband, you know what I mean? He has a family with her, and so on and so forth. So there y'all have it. I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to finish eating. My daughter made Angus steak burgers and fries. So I'm going to sign off and finish eating. We will, of course, continue to stick close to this situation and see what all it entails. Jay-Z has essentially gone in with Spyro, and I believe turned around and sued Busby for extortion. We're going to follow those things, keep on sipping the hot tea. This has been Tanisha Talks. Thanks for all of the 30, 40 on tonight, new followers, over 100 people in the chat. Really, really thank you guys so very much for viewing while we were live. So yeah, that was on tonight, y'all. Thank you so much for joining, and please stick around. Keep your cups ready. So I'm going to be pouring some more hot tea in them very soon. I guarantee you. Have a nice night. Bye. Welcome to Tanisha Talks Tea, where we dive into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us, from personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.